My brother said my scars made me undateable, so I made him eat his own words. I had burns from a kitchen accident across my left cheek and jaw, and my brother Brian had turned them into his favorite punchline. Every time we argued, it ended the same way, with him saying, "At least I'll have someone at my wedding besides our parents. No girl will even look at you for more than a second." It hurt me every single time, but my parents had taught me to learn how to live with the insults. Then when I was 20, something shifted. I was working at the bookstore near campus when a woman asked about a photography book. She was so beautiful and perfect that I forgot to turn my scarred side away, but surprisingly enough, she didn't look disgusted or turned off. We talked for an hour straight about art and composition. Before leaving, she handed me her card that said she was a model doing a local shoot. "I'm Adrian," she said. "Coffee tomorrow?" That's when everything changed. I started seeing Adrian in secret. Every weekend, she wasn't traveling for shoots. We'd meet at quiet cafes, go hiking where no one knew us, cook dinner at my apartment. She asked why I never introduced her to my family. I told her about Brian, about the comments, about how I wasn't ready for him to poison this too. She understood. For 3 years, we built our relationship away from everyone. Meanwhile, Brian was busy dating Jessica, this girl from his finance firm. He'd constantly brag about how sophisticated she was, how she'd studied abroad in Paris. He'd make snide comments like, "People like you, people with scars, are just meant to be alone, bro. It's actually noble, living for other things besides romance." What made it worse was our parents seemed to buy into it too. They'd stopped asking if I was seeing anyone, stopped mentioning their friends' daughters. It was like they'd accepted Brian's version of my future. Jessica would come to family dinners and talk about her travels, her MBA program, while Brian would smirk at me across the table. "Don't worry, when Jess and I have kids, you'll be the fun uncle." Every family needs one person who's totally devoted to their nieces and nephews since they don't have their own children. His comments weren't making me feel awful anymore, but I still wanted a chance to show him how wrong he was. And the perfect opportunity came when Brian announced his huge 30th birthday party. "You should come early," he said. "Help set up tables so you don't have to worry about mingling with everyone." He'd invited all his work friends, Jessica's family, even some local influencers he knew. I decided that this was it. I texted Adrian about the party, and she replied with, "See you there, babe." Once the party started, Brian had already started bragging about his girlfriend to all his guests. He looked at me standing in the corner and gave me a look telling me to make myself scarce, but I just waited patiently. That's when I got a text from Adrian, outside. I walked out, then came back in with her on my arm. The room went quiet. Someone whispered, "Wait, I literally saw her in a magazine yesterday." Adrian smiled, squeezing my hand. Brian pushed through the crowd, his face cycling through confusion and disbelief. "Everyone," I said, loud enough for the room to hear. "This is Adrian, my fiance." Brian's mouth fell open. "Your what, fiance?" He looked at Adrian, then back at me, then laughed. "Okay, how much is he paying you? Did he hire you for the night?" When Adrian showed her engagement ring, Brian's face went red. "You're serious? You're with him?" He turned to Adrian. "Look at his face. Those scars. You could have literally anyone. Athletes, actors, successful guys without all that damage." He gestured at my face. "You're telling me you actually chose him?" The room went silent. Adrian stepped forward, her voice calm but carrying through the entire space. "These marks you're mocking? I call them his story. They're proof he survived something that would have destroyed someone like you." She touched my scarred cheek gently, then looked Brian dead in the eyes. "I've dated those actors and athletes you mentioned, men who society calls perfect. None of them came close to him. You know why? Because while you were teaching him to hide, he was learning to be real. While you were making him feel worthless, he was becoming invaluable. Those scars you're so disgusted by, they're one of the 1,000 things that make him more attractive than you'll ever be." The party went quiet as everyone started agreeing with Adrian and criticizing Brian for his words. "Dude, it's disgusting that he would say that out loud." Someone said, "He's so shallow. I feel bad for his girlfriend." Another person called out. Jessica backed away from Brian, shaking her head. "We're done. I can't be with you knowing that's what you think of your brother." People started leaving, whispering about what they'd witnessed. Brian kept looking at me in shock, still unable to believe what he'd seen. The next morning, he deleted everything about his scarred brother. For once, Brian had nothing to say.